Hello, SuperCoaches. It is the preview podcast, round 12, first big bye of the year. You've got 7 teams out. Origin players are out. We've got a heap of injuries to deal with as well. Rob Sutherland is back from a little road trip last week. How was it?
Excellent, thank you. The young lad, he didn't want to come last, and he didn't. He came 29th in Australia, so I'm very proud of him.
In Australia?
Yeah,
wow.
pretty good.
That's in Bouldering?
Bouldering, yeah.
Very nice. Yeah. And Jett, when you called in sick yesterday, I thought the worst because Sam Stone Street had just been ruled out when you sent that text. How are you feeling?
Mate, I was cast when he went down on Saturday night. It's been a horrible week. I lost Nafahu White, I lost Dylan Egan, I lost Jacob Carraz, Stone Street. Twig got picked for Origin, so just goes to show how much bye planning you do. It doesn't matter because I've just lost 5 blokes in 1 week. So
indeed. So how many on the park are you getting this week?
14 at this stage.
Yep, 14 for me now, but I'm only using 2 trades, so I could use another one. I don't think there's much point in getting more than 14 on the park, but I do have a couple of spuds in there too, so I might do an extra trade as well. How many have you got?
I've got, what have I got? I got 10 before trades.
Yep.
So I'm going to have to use 3 trades, possibly 4 if I don't want to play someone bad. So I'm thinking I'm going to do 4 at this stage. So I'll use my last boost.
So let's do trades. What are you thinking this week?
Well, I'm getting all my 4 injured players out. So Nafahu White, he's done an MCL, hasn't he? Dylan Egan's done his ACL. Carraz is out 4 to 6 weeks. And Stone Street did a syndesmosis. So those 4 blokes out. I'm trading in Adam Fanor-Blake. The minutes are really starting to be there now. He played 80 on the weekend. And before that, it was 70, 65. So I'm trading him in. Homole Olakau'atu. I think it's going to be a nice little period for him. And then 2 Panthers. I'm going to go Blaze Talangi. I wanted to trade him in as soon as I saw him play 2 weeks ago. Hasn't had a bad score all week. And Paul Alamotti I like as well. Goal kicking over this period without Nathan Cleary.
Huge. So. All right. Some pretty good trades there. Lots of pods in there. We'll get to pod of the week later on. What are you thinking?
All right. I want to circle back, so I really want to talk about Talangi. He was right on the cusp for me, and it was an interesting one. So out for me is White, Firma, and Carraz. Firma, to me, has done a job. Like, I like those safe second rows at centre early on when I haven't got a real vibe on who the good centres are, and I feel we do know that now, so I'm happy to take his money and move on. Fanua-Blake, Billy Kicks, and Herbie Farnworth. Kick-Our's my kind of gamble, but I can defend it.
For me, I'm getting rid of Ponga in for Tedesco. I just can't sit there watching the Roosters with Tedesco killing it. I just have to have him in my team, even though he costs a lot of coin. And then Homole, I'm also getting in. Now that he's missed Origin, I like his buy schedule coming forward, so he comes in for Dylan Egan. You're not keen?
I am keen. I think like the 70k that he costs more than Kick-Out's probably worth it. But are you guys not concerned that he's 20th man and clearly the next second row up?
Yeah, he still needs. I mean, there'd need to be an injury. It is a worry, definitely. But you'd think it would have to be an edge guy that goes down.
An injury to Young or Crichton and Kick-Out Homole comes in.
It could easily happen, but we just need to get through. I'm just hoping we can get through 12, 13, and then maybe 15. Fingers crossed.
Okay.
And we'll then even that's thinking too far ahead for SuperCoach.
If there was an injury there, you could also have just Hudson Young move into the back row, and then they bring in a Stefano or a middle forward.
Yeah, that's possible too. I'm just like having listened with a little bit of joy to your tale of woe, right? And I'm like, you potentially lining yourself up for another.
Well, happened to me last year when I traded him in. I think he got suspended for like 4 weeks straight after I traded him in. So let's hope that doesn't happen this week.
They're both so Hudson Young and Olakau'atu are both specialist certain side players, left and right.
Yeah, that's true.
So I don't think it would be a case of if one guy goes down, the next guy comes up. It depends if it's the guy who's playing left or right.
Okay.
Onto the no-go zone. This is the popular move that you are avoiding. What are you thinking?
Well, I had Savage down there. But I think Rob's going him. So I'm going to go with Tommy Turbo. He doesn't look healthy at all. I don't know if you guys were looking at his face every time he ran the ball on the weekend. He's just grimacing every time.
To be fair, Tommy gives good face.
He does.
Score 170 and look like
and he still looks awkward.
He dropped the ball over the line as well.
That was bad.
I think if he was 75% healthy, he'd be in the Origin team, and he's not. So I couldn't have him in there with that injury risk that he could play 20 minutes and then he's cast and gone for the rest of the game. So
Yeah, no, I think I'm 100% with you. I think it's a massive risk and not worth it. Look, yeah, I do have Savage. I just don't understand it. He's so popular. The price is low and the BE is negative. I get those things. But like even when the Raiders score a lot of points, Savage can go absolutely missing. So, I mean, they scored 40 on the Titans in round 7. He scored 17. They scored 30 on the Dolphins, I think, the week after, and I think he scored 19. It's not like when the Raiders go, score big points, Savage gets up. He can totally miss. Now, if he gets 20 and 20 in the next 2 games, people have bought him in, they've got no points, and they'll only get about 50K, and they'll have to trade him out again. I think it's a big mistake.
Yeah, I agree with that one. I had him on my list as well, so all 3 of us are saying no to Savage. I don't see why Payne Haas is such a popular sell this week. He's the 4th most popular sell. And I don't get why Nathan Cleary is a popular sell. These guys are guns of Supercoach. Hopefully he can get through this week. He should be able to. And then you've got some mail on Cleary and what might happen with his backups coming up.
Not mail as much as thoughts.
Yes.
So the next 2 games are Para, West Tigers. Yep. Para, so I put this into a blog and someone's like, oh, they'll beat Para easy. I'm like, this is not Penrith of last year. This is Penrith this year. They need to beat Para,
Yeah, Para are looking a bit better with Moses back too.
Yeah, and it'll be at CommBank. There'll be a lot to play for. I assume Cleary will back up into that and then, play the West Tigers and score 180 points and we're all happy. Then he goes off to Origin 2, which is in Perth. Then the Panthers only have a 3-day turnaround from Origin 2 all the way to Auckland. So, the game finishes at like 3 a.m., 4 a.m. Auckland time. They've then got to fly. I could see all the Penrith players missing that game.
Yeah.
If you're going to sell Cleary, I think it's for that game, after that game or before Origin 2, not this one. Haas, I get to an extent, right? Like, there's the quad injury and the fears about that, but it's the same thing, and like Brisbane need to win. They need Haas to win. I think he backs up. What do you reckon?
Well, I don't think they want to aggravate any quad injury to make it. It's just a minor thing at the moment, it seems like. And if he plays through it and it turns into a pretty significant quad strain and they lose Haas for 10 weeks, I don't think they want to risk that. So
sure,
I have doubts whether he'd back up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you sell him though?
I probably would sell him, yeah.
You don't own it?
I don't own him, no. I'm probably the only bloke that doesn't own him, so that's why I tell everyone to sell him. But there's a lot of options. You can just sell him straight to Fanua Blake, who's going to play over this whole period and bank your points. And then you can just trade Haas back in when he's fit and firing.
Or you already have, say, Fanua Blake and Terrell May, or Fanua Blake and Tarpany, or Tarpany and Terrell May. So you can cover. You can just sit him there and just protect him with your other 2 guys, not play him. Right?
Yeah, I certainly can cover him. And also, I've got other guys to sell first. I'd sell Nafahu White first. I'd sell Dylan Egan first, obviously, given that he's out for the season. So those guys go first. And then if you don't own them, maybe you start thinking about selling Haas. So this is the move you shouldn't make but can't help yourself. What are you thinking?
Mine's just holding Kalen Ponga again.
Yeah.
I know he's got a 2-day backup after Origin, but as you say, with Cleary and Haas, they need Kalen Ponga. And they scored 6 points in the weekend. He got knocked out of 66. So he's starting to get back to where he was. I just think they need him. And I don't want to go 550k Kalen Ponga, 900k up to Tedesco. You just got to leave a lot there. And as I said earlier, I just hate the move to Turbo just because of how unhealthy he looks. So I'm going to hold him through this Origin period, and hopefully everyone sells him and pays off. So that's what I'm going.
I have no guilt. It's buy round, so you play what you got. But so this will be my chance to go. Like, I almost take guilt, which is getting Talangi. Like, I know his numbers have been great. He hasn't had a bad game this year. His worst game's like 55 or something. Are you not worried that no Edwards, no Cleary, no Yo, that's going to make things harder for him? Like, a lot harder for him, and he's going to struggle to, get those try assists, which has been the difference for him?
He could embrace it as well. He played a lot of footy without Mitch Moses at Parramatta last year, and he was, arguably one of the brightest young footy players in the league. So I think he'll take a step up and use this period to really establish himself as the 5'8" there at Penrith. So,
but you're a punter. You're a born optimist.
I am a born optimist, and I'm going to continue. That's why I hunt pods every week. So I like it. And he just looked. What he had 4 try assists the last time he played.
Yeah. And
who was run outside him? It wasn't Liam Martin. It was Luke Garner and the other back row they got there. I can't remember. But I don't think it'll worry him at all.
Okay.
Well, while we're talking about the Panthers, let's do this week's best bets powered by Better, because I think that, well, they are very depleted this week. They got 5 or 6 guys out through Origin, but paying like $1.40 or something, which I think is ridiculous odds. So I've actually gone the Knights to win with Fletcher Sharp, who is my guilty pleasure as well. I'm going to have the VC on him, and I'm going to be putting him into my multi as well with Better for about $5, which is pretty,
it's
pretty
double
wild
your
for me.
price normally, yeah.
What do you think?
I'm going to go Penrith to win, so one of our twos can't win. And into Paul Alamoti to get 2 tries. Is he going to play left with Jenkins there?
I'm not sure. Alamoti's so versatile.
Yeah,
He could
I
play
know.
either
I
side.
hope he plays left, and then they just give him 2 tries down that left side from Talangi. So I think they're going to put a score on Newcastle, and I reckon Alamoti goes over for 2 tries, so that's $4.50.
Look, I've got the guy that I'll probably captain, which is Fanua Blake. To score a try against my Roosters, we're missing basically the entire forward pack. There's only 2 or 3 internationals left in it. It's really thin. And Cooler to score against the Eels. There's no DCE, so expect the ball to be going left. And I think, so put the 2 together and it's about 10 to 1.
Nice. Good odds there. What is gambling really costing you? For free and confidential support, call 1-800-858-858 or visit gamblinghelponline.org.au. Questions. Lots coming through this week. The first one is, any chance that you could hold Karaz? Now, I know you said before 4 to 6 weeks. Is that? I haven't seen anything official from the Dogs yet, which is not to say something hasn't gone out. Is it 4 to 6 weeks for him?
When the initial report first came out, it was a significant calf injury.
Right.
I think Danny Weidler tweeted that it was at least 4 weeks,
Right,
so at the very minimum. So I'd think it'd be more than 4 weeks in the end. You'd probably looking more at 6 than 4, just because it's a significant calf injury. That was the key word.
Yeah, I mean, and those muscle injuries aren't ones that you can rush back from either.
Yeah.
Oh, what was I going to say? Is Toya... So I was getting roasted last night on Buy, Hold, Sell for saying that Robert Toya is a hold when he has a negative BE. What are your thoughts with that? I just think that he's made so much money. You can get him to, say, Farnworth, for example. Doesn't even cost you that much money. So I think if you can do a big upgrade, then why not go for it?
I actually think he is a hold, and I said so in my in the top of the Q&A that I ran yesterday, and that's because he's got the negative BE, and he's only in Origin because there's 2 players injured, the Talangi and
Selwyn
Cobbo, right? Yeah. And assuming they're available for Origin 2, and assuming the Blues win this one, which I think on paper they should, then I can see Toya going out and Val Holmes sliding out, and to centre and a winger coming in. So I think I would be holding Toya through this if I can. Yep. Hope to make some more money and reassess once we see teams for game 2.
He is not a priority sell, put it that way. There are guys ahead of him who are genuinely injured, like Dylan Egan, etc.
Yep.
Nafahu White, who I'd be selling first. So not a priority sell, but I can get around holding or selling, to be honest.
Yeah, I think he's a hold. Sorry. There's every chance Latrell gives him a buff next Wednesday night.
Yeah.
And this might be the only Origin game he plays.
Latrell marked up against him. I think it was his first game back, and he was playing centre, and Toya did a really good job on him. So I'm excited.
That's Latrell first game back.
That was Latrell first game back. Yeah,
that's also
in the Origin arena.
That's Latrell with South's players outside. Yeah, this is Latrell, the very best. Yeah. Inside and outside him. Yeah, I can see it being a different effect.
Right, let's do pod of the week. I'm just a bit worried that you guys have already blown your thunder already on this one by picking Blaze Talangi. But do you have someone else?
Yeah, I've got Paul Alamoti, who I'm bringing in this week. He's in 4% of teams. As I said, he's going to goal kick over this period when Nathan Cleary's not playing. He's at a 62-point average and he's priced at $568K, so he's priced below his average. Penrith go Knights, Eels, Tigers, so it's a great draw. He's a winger, going to score tries. He's turned up more than a few times this season. I like Paul Alamoti as a trade-in and maybe just a short-term play.
As someone who had Alamoti and then sold him, I hope he goes terribly for you, but I think he's a pretty good player. Look, mine's Billy Kickout. Zach Hosking is by far the more popular, like multiples, 2 or 3 times as many people are getting Hosking as getting Kickout, and I don't get it. So I know Hosking scored a try, and I know if you only look at the games he started at second row, then he's got this great average over the past 2 years. But that's because he scored tries in those ones as well. He's not going to keep scoring tries. He's got almost no power to his game. No offloads, no tackle busts. He's a 50 to 55 guy if he doesn't score. Kickout has offloads, tackle busts, and the ability to set up points. They love going down that left-hand side. The right-hand side's going to be missing Crichton and Carraz. I can see, they're already a left-biased team. They're going to be even more left-biased this week. I think Kickout's a much better buy than Hosking.
He also plays 80 minutes. Hosking, Simi
was 65, they pull him off. Yeah. And the Dogs play all three major buys.
Yeah.
It's a tough week for cheapies. There's no standout option. We're really scraping the bottom of the barrel, let's face it, this week. But Jordan Samrani, Frank, our producer, has brought him in. I don't know if he's going to stick with him, but he's moved. He has been playing edge back row off the bench. He's now at centre this week with the Origin guys out. What are your thoughts? Just under 300k. He looks decent to the eye. He's definitely not, he's not one of the best cheapies we've seen this year, but is he the best this week in a rough week?
I think he is, just because he's got that duel, and that duel's so invaluable. Doesn't matter. Like Ben Trewavich over the last few years, he's been so valuable just because that flexibility you get having that centre wing back row duel. The minutes might not be there when he moves back to that bench thing, but I don't hate him as a trade-in. He's got a negative break even, and just that duel's so handy. So what do you think?
I like what I see. I actually like him as a forward more than I like him as a back. I worry about him playing in the centres and then becoming a bit of an AE nightmare going forwards. I would prefer maybe Lipoi, Hopoi, starting front row. He's going to go away. Once the Dogs have so many injuries, once they're back, he goes out of the team. I think he's a good pure buy cheapie.
Yeah. And you've got people in that position to sell. Egan's not in that spot, but you probably have the right Jules and Nafahu White.
Yeah.
You're looking to sell. So in terms of the guys you're getting rid of, it's a position to look at. And I think he probably is the best cheapie this week. Which is not to say that Fletcher Hunt, your boy, last week, what happened there?
They just couldn't get in the ball.
Coming up against Lomax, it was just rough.
I just couldn't get in the ball. It was frustrating to watch, but he has a go. That's one thing.
There were flashes where you could see the talent there. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I'm a bit disappointed that Fletcher Sharp's playing fullback this week because I thought that they might play Fletcher Hunt there, but I think that all the signs there that he's a good footy player, and I think he has a red hot crack, and points will come with him.
SuperCoach Plus, $29.95 for the year. It's the perfect week to get on because there is an inbuilt buy planner. You can see the traffic lights, who's in, who's out, who's on the buy, who's injured. And that's only the smallest part of what SuperCoach Plus actually is. So I suggest you get on $29.95 for the year, or you get a full code subscription, $59 for the year, i.e. $1 a week. On to captaincy. What are you thinking this week?
I'm going to go one of the Penrith guys, so I'm going to VC Alamotti or Blaze Talangi. I might go Alamotti just because of the goal kicking and the try scoring upside. Into Nico Hines, I don't think I've seen Nico play any better footy than what he's playing at the moment. He's running it a lot more, taking on the line, and he's hitting the goals well. So either Hines or Fanor Blake, but I'm heavily leaning towards Nico Hines.
The only issue I've got with Hines is I'm almost certain he's playing the same game as Tedesco, so I can't do a VC. Or I'd prefer to go VC on Nico into Teddy as captain, which I can't do, unfortunately.
You don't have that QR code this year. Look, I'm looking at Sharp VC. My alternate would be Farnworth. I can see him going pretty well this week. Captain's either going to be Teddy or AFB. Look, safe pick is probably AFB, and it'll hurt me less, like if he goes well against the Roosters if he's captain, whereas if Teddy bombs it and the Roosters get beaten, as I expect we probably will against the Sharks, then it's just double pain. So
I could never captain someone against my own team. I couldn't do it. I couldn't bring myself to do it.
I do it all the time.
I couldn't.
When you've
It's so
really
when you-
evolved as
yeah.
a super coach,
Yeah.
you just no love whatsoever.
I do it all the time, so because I know that Dragons are going to lose a fair bit, so at least I have.
See,
I had
it
Haas as
lessens the
captain.
pain, doesn't it?
I had
Yeah,
Haas as
yeah.
captain on the weekend, so when he was making line breaks at the end there,
That last few minutes. Were you cheering him on to score when he was heading towards the line? Come on, be
I'm
honest.
not saying anything. Of course I was. But also going for the Dragons, and we finally got a tight win, which is good. I was going to ask, I know I ask this most weeks, but where do we stand now on this really safe captain? So you mentioned AFB before. No Haas this week or no Terrell May, who were the big options last week. But where do we stand, particularly in a buy round, where you genuinely get 2 bites at the cherry for the captaincy? You can use the loophole really well in these rounds, whereas it's a bit tougher on the top 17 weeks.
I wish I could do it because last week I had it on Terrell May because I was thinking it's a tough week for a captain, and then 5 minutes before the game I put on Drinkwater for a massive 14. So
in down dates.
in down dates. So that was nice. But I love sitting here saying, it's nice having a safe captain, but it's just no fun. And I play SuperCoach to have a bit of fun. So that's why I always pick those guys with the high upside that can go 180. And Terrell May he went 120 or something on the weekend. So it's hard to knock the safe option. I just think it's boring.
Look, as someone who's been boring most of their life, it's not such a bad place to be, I can tell you.
Wait, some of the stories you've been telling aren't that boring, Rob.
The bank robbery? That's another one. That's for later. I don't mind the safe captain. And in the buy round, I like the risky VC. I think Alamonti's a good one. I'm throwing Sharp on there at fullback, even though the Knights kind of suck at the moment. He
kick goals?
I reckon Gagai might.
Yeah.
But Sharp's a possibility. I mean, Gags is not a great goal kicker.
He's not, yeah.
So, yeah.
I think Sharp kicked for a bit last year.
I think Gags kicked the other... Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I think it's close. Anyway, I don't mind the safe one. I've got to say, especially when they're going so well.
Yeah, on the buy rounds, it's definitely a big option on the buy rounds. Let's do some questions. So, sell Nafahu White and Fanua Blake or Ponga to Teddy. What are we thinking there? I'm going Ponga to Teddy. As I said before, just can't watch the Roosters when Teddy's carving up.
I'd go White to Blake just because Ponga's going to be playing games over this period and White's not. So
you've got Blake. He's got the bye next week though, right?
Ponga
and Fanua Blake.
AFB.
Yeah.
Which is
But you should be able to cover it with Terrell May anyway.
You should be able to cover it, but still, anything could happen in Origin.
Yeah.
Who's going to back up? That's the only thing that's turning me off AFB and Herbie Farnworth, guys like that too.
I would say do White to AFB simply because I am loving people holding on to Ponga through his decline. It's giving me great pleasure.
Yeah, well, that's why I'm getting rid of him this week. Have you got a final thought for us, Rob?
I don't, man. Life's good. No complaints.
Frank's just lost it over there.
Thank you very much.
You'll have the complaint next week when you got to break the news that he might be hosting the podcast on Tuesday.
Yeah, you're hosting next week. I'm off. Jett's off.
That's okay.
Maybe Frank will stack up.
Yeah, if he finds it so funny.
I don't have a final thought either, so it's been a real flop segment. What do you reckon?
I just write down biplaning sucks. So.
All right, we'll end on that. Big thanks to Rob, Jett, Frank as well, who's still laughing. We won't do a late mail podcast tomorrow, but we'll catch you next week when Rob is hosting. See you then.
No, he's not.